So let me ask you, should you be embarrassed by your divinity?
No.
No. No. So sometimes when we sit in meditation and there's a lot of grace, a lot of energy pouring through the spine, our body dances around a little bit. Now I get to see this all the time. I experienced it firsthand for many years. But in this seat, you know, you get to see all the people who are dancing and radiating energy and flowing, and their bodies going into ecstasy, and so it's kind of fun for me. But everyone else who's sitting with their eyes closed, they might hear a little bit of ruckus, but they might not be like, what is that? Like, what's going on there? What's going on there? And so sometimes there's these wild states of rapture that come. Is it true what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And did it happen with somebody tonight?
With somebody?
Yeah. Yeah, with somebody.
You mean with me?
Yeah, with you. Yes, that's the somebody. That's the somebody. Somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why don't you share a little bit about your experience, like what that's like? You know, because in the beginning, if it ever happens to one, like if we're untrained, we might think we're possessed. Like sometimes I'll get a good fundamentalist Christian from the South who'll, you know, reach out to me saying, I'm possessed by the devil, or I read about this thing called Kundalini online. Maybe it's that, but I'm pretty certain it's the devil. You know, and so, you know, it's good to talk about in this type of setting.
Yeah, it feels very liberating.
It feels liberating. It feels liberating.
Because it is really wild.
Yeah, it's really wild. Yeah, yeah.
And like, well, what happens is that like, well, I did start feeling it kind of like blissfully coming up my spine. Just like really forceful. Not bad, but just like really forceful kind of mudras. And then it always, for me, it always comes with like sort of a sense of devotion.
Yeah. And how does that feel in your heart, in your belly, in your spine?
It feels very loving, and it feels very like empowering. There's a sense of empowering. I feel like Shakti is empowering to me.
How empowering?
Like, like literally, I'm a goddess.
Like literally, I'm a goddess. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally,
Yeah.
I'm a goddess.
Yeah.
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 Literally, I'm a goddess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's honor that.
Yeah.
Let's honor that. Let's honor that. Now, if we have this energy flow through our body and we are an egomaniac, it leads to all kinds of trouble. Are you an egomaniac?
No, but...
No. Like you have this great humility. You have this great humility about you. And there's a sense of almost like, oh, embarrassment, like I don't want anyone to see this. And it is a little wild. It is a little bizarre. It's not a little, it's like really bizarre, really wild. Really wild. Really wild.
Yeah. And that's what I feel like people don't realize, that God is wild, you know?
People don't realize that God is wild. Yeah. Because we think of God, excuse me, as peace, as sweetness, as love, as depth. But sometimes Kundalini, you know, God comes in the form of Kundalini Shakti as this immense intensity that comes with a force, a directness, a wildness. And I don't know if any of you heard, but Justina was making like these snake sounds, and so there's a little bit of that. And so sometimes it comes with mudras and snake sounds, and it's gonna be like, what the hell is going on here? Like, this is incredibly wild.
Yeah.
Incredibly wild. But were you making that up? Were you putting on a show to get
No.
to get attention?
No, it just
Are
happens.
you wanting everyone to look at you?
No.
Do you have an unmet need of some kind?
Well, I mean, there's part of me that feels like...
But that's not what's happening.
No, that's not what's
That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. And so she's surrendering, and this grace is moving through her and reminding her that you are a
Goddess.
goddess. A goddess. A goddess. A goddess. A goddess. And I will tell you that for the parts of us that feel less than, that feel beat up, beat down, insecure, the parts of us that feel mouse-like and deficient, this can be radically healing. This recognition that you are a
Goddess.
a goddess. A goddess. And it can really do something to our psychology where it's like, oh, am I this little thing? Or am I a
Goddess.
goddess? Or am I a goddess? Am I this little thing or am I a goddess? And then it's a great question for us to play with. To play with throughout our life. If we feel small, we can ask ourselves, is smallness my truth? Is smallness my truth? Now some of us, we have lots of trauma and lots of pain, and I fully respect, of course, and honor that process. But sometimes when we're in that process, we forget, oh, I'm a goddess. I am this divine being. There is more to me than just pain and suffering. That's one of the tricks of the ego, is anytime we're experiencing something that's uncomfortable, like the ego tends to be loud. It says, this is the totality of me. It doesn't really say that, but that's the feeling. This is the totality of me. But as we open deeply and fully to our being, we see that our totality is much greater. Much greater. Much greater.